If you've been selling on Amazon for pretty much any amount of time, you know that going out and buying the inventory tends to be the easiest step. Shipping it in is difficult, and then after it gets to Amazon, you have to make sure that you're competitive on your price. Oftentimes, this is going to mean getting a repricer, which for me has been the single biggest software in making sure that I'm less stressed and working on my business less, because you can only source so many hours of the day. As you're doing retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, you can kind of do whatever, but you can constantly be worrying about your inventory and if it's going to sell because you're pricing it too low. That's exactly what happened with me with an old repricer that I have, but I've already made a video about switching repricers to Bqool, and then my 1-month test going through the data of how much I actually made extra by selling more units for more profit. So today I want to walk through Bqool with you guys, going over not only how to use every single part of it and going through all the tabs, but also Bqool is coming out with a new way to reprice your inventory, which I'd actually been interested in for a long time because it's going to save me a lot of time. And they went back, listened to my suggestions because I got on some calls with them, and they pushed back their launch by like a month and a half because they wanted to implement some of the things that I said. So we'll go over what those are going to be. And then at the end, they've also, because I was on those calls with them, are going to be doing a giveaway with you guys for 2 lucky winners, and I'll give you all the details of that towards the end of the video. So let's dive into Bqool real quick and see why it's become one of my favorite softwares for selling on Amazon. Also, sorry that I didn't have a video for you guys last Friday or over the weekend. We were in Sedona, service was terrible, and we were doing things like this. And the whole point of working and having your own business is to do things like that. So I kind of made the most of it. Tell you what, one of the awesome things about living in a van is that sometimes your office just tilts because we're never quite on that perfectly level surface. But if you want to follow our van adventures or just get up to date on kind of what I'm doing day to day and why I might not be posting like I was this weekend, go follow me on Instagram or our travel Instagram and YouTube channel, which we'll start posting videos on probably this Sunday. So real quick, we're just going to head over into Bqool. If you don't yet have an account with Bqool, you can sign up down in the description below with my link. They'll end up upgrading your free trial from 14 days to 30 days, as well as giving you an upgrade from the $50 plan to the $100 plan, which has a lot more AI repricing, which is what I use, and we'll dive into that here in a second. So over on Bqool, you just log in, and on the first page, this is what we're gonna see. It's just the dashboard, which actually gives you a lot of cool information. I don't really look at this too much because I look at it through Inventory Lab, so there might be something coming with Bqool that I can't talk about that will make me use it a lot more, but that's coming probably in midsummer. But what you can see here is the AI sales, how many of your AI repriced listings have sold, how many total orders, your percentage of the buy box wins, and your total AI listings. Right now I have 201. Down here you have more analytics. I really, like I said, don't look at this too much. You could probably dive into this a lot, but you can see how many sales I have over these past, I think it's 28 days here. I have noticed that this isn't 100% correct to what you see on Amazon. It's delayed by a few days because it's waiting on finalized totals from Amazon, which come a few days later after items have shipped out. So if you see that it's not 100% correct with what you sold on Amazon, that's the reason I have confirmed that with Bqool. So you can look at how many orders, buy box percentage wins, average sales per listing, but I don't really honestly look at any of these things. I just want to make sure that my buy box is still good. Down here, you can see what your best selling items are and your best buy box win percentages. And then right at the bottom down here, you have a listings overview, which is actually really cool. I had to move myself real quick up to the top, and you have which channel it is, Amazon US. Repricing pause right now is 23. We can see why that's the case. Normally it's because the listing is just too low, below what I would take for a minimum. AI powered listings 201, rule-based listings 0. Rules-based listings are rules that you create yourself that aren't powered by their AI systems. I personally don't have any of those anymore because I don't think I could create a better rule than their AI listings would do. It's not perfect by any means, but it's probably better than what I would be able to do myself, and you can adjust it, which we'll get to. Then you have inactive listings, which is 33, and those are ones that are probably stranded or you don't have any inventory of. Deleted listings, 840. These are listings that I previously had that I don't have anymore, so I never look at that. These ones at the end here are the important ones that you might want to click through, but you have missing, min, max, and rule, which is 0. And if you don't have a minimum price, maximum price, or rule, you won't actually be able to reprice at all. So you always want to make sure that this isn't 0, but you have your listings in the buy box, which for me is 116. Not in buy box is 85. And if you click through on this, you can see maybe why they're not in the buy box. At the minimum price is 117 of my listings. At the maximum price is 19 of my listings. Only seller is 9, which is good. And then this is the one that I like a lot, is competition below minimum price. What that means is that through whatever rule I have set up, whether I'm competing with only FBA, which I do, or FBA and FBM, if there's competition that's below my minimum prices that I've set, I can go in and see if I should lower my price or go check the listings on Amazon with Keepa to see if maybe the price will go back up so that I can adjust my repricing accordingly. And normally I'll go through and just drop my prices so I can sell out of that inventory as long as I can still make a cash flow positive return. So you could click through there, but what you could also do is scroll all the way back out, change where my face is, and look at the top here. You have Repricing Central. There's also another thing that they do, which is more for like private label, called Big Central. I'm not interested in any of that. And then you have listings, which have active and deleted listings. Deleted also includes stranded inventory, which kind of is annoying. If it's stranded for like a pricing rule, you're going to actually have to change that in Amazon, then go back into Bqool to delete listings and re-enable repricing, or it'll automatically do that if you set a schedule. But you can also go to active listings. We'll go here and repricing rules last because those are the two that I deal with most. Over here in price history, you can actually see how your prices changed on all your inventory. It'll show you you when it was repriced, the ASIN, the SKU, minimum price, maximum price that you have, what your repricing rule is, and then who it repriced against. I guess this one is actually repricing against an FBM, and then the change in price. So the current price, the new price, I dropped 32 cents because maybe they dropped in price and I'm trying to beat their price, and that's still within my minimum price. Honestly, I never look at that. But if you do have Bqool and you're repricing and you think something was repriced like way too low or it's not repricing at all, you can go there and even search by ASIN by clicking up here over the past 24 hours, 2, 3, 4, or 5 days. So you can't really go too far, or go over to this advanced tab, any date range with the ASIN, the rule. And from there, you would be able to see why the price was changed to what it was, because normally it's just not going to be outside of your rules. I don't think it's even possible for the software to do that. So if you have questions about why something was repriced so low, you might be able to find your mistake by searching up that ASIN and seeing why it was that low, and then adjusting on your rules or listings page there. Next up, you can go over here to reports. I also pretty much never look at this. You have daily sales, listing performance, and download reports. So daily sales report, honestly, I'd probably just look at the dashboard because I'm not getting my reports through Bqool. Uh-oh, service is dying on me. Come on, buddy. And that right there is the beauty of using your hotspot, because sometimes you get 20 megabits download, sometimes you get 2. But also while we're on this page waiting, if you're watching this video when it's coming out, you can actually click here. And if you haven't signed up for Bqool yet, or if you already have signed up and you want to upgrade your plan, you can get 2 free months of Bqool. This is an annual plan, so you would have to pay for the annual plan. I think it's the $100 plan, and that's the plan that I have. But you would get 2 extra months free if you sign up. I think it's by the end of March or April. You can still sign up using my code, and you'll end up getting 2 months free if you do the annual, or if you just want to try the free trial first, you can go ahead and do that. So back over here, if we go over into reports, daily sales, please pull something up. Oh, perfect. It's just another sales report that you can see either on Amazon, on Inventory Lab, anything that you have. But if you only have Bqool, you don't have Inventory Lab or something like that. I don't know why, because you can actually integrate the two together, and that would make your life so much easier. Inventory Lab gives Bqool the costs so that I can set minimum prices based on return on investment. I've talked about all that in my other Bqool videos if you're interested. And you can see the dates, the sales, units ordered, basically everything that you'd be able to see except for this buy box win percentage you can see here. Then you have the same thing, that's the listing performance, but these are pretty much the exact same reports that you can access on the dashboard just by scrolling down a little bit and seeing best selling. If you click down here at more listings, it'll pretty much pull that same information up. The last thing over here is upload file. Well, the last thing before we get into the actual meat of it, but this is something that you'd use if you didn't have Inventory Lab, where it automatically fed in your units. You could use this. I don't know how to use this. I've never used this. I have no interest in using this. But if you have questions, you can always click up here to this learn tab and learn anything about the software. But up here, you can kind of see your plan, how many you have available for rules-based and for AI, enabled for rules-based and AI. You could also get started with Repricing Central, which I have only done 50% of because I figured out most of the software and didn't need to go through this whole thing. They also have a knowledge base, which is nice if you have any questions, and they have a good support system, chat with support. And then up here, you'll have your information and you can go into your Bqool account. I love being on a hotspot. Basically over here, you just have all the basic things that you'd have with your account information, your business information, how you're going to pay for it, and what your plan is. You can upgrade all of that over here. But going back over into the main thing, let's first take a look at the listings page. I'll show you what you can do on this page right now, which might be changing here pretty soon, but you'll still be able to do everything that I show you. You'll just be able to do more later. First thing that you'll see is you have active Amazon listings. I think you have it sorted by your SKU, so newest to oldest, but you'll be able to see your listing right down here. A lot of information about the listing, the name, obviously, what fulfillment channel you have. Everything for me is FBA, how many other sellers on the listing, what the ASIN is, the percentage of buybacks that you have, and then the sales rank of the item. Scrolling over more, you can see that you have the cost that you paid for the item auto-populated by Inventory Lab. If this is off for whatever reason, it has not ever been for me, you can go ahead and just change it here. You can also change the minimum price that you have, and your listing will never be repriced below this minimum $5.81 price for me. Your maximum price, $10.19. I should really dial in these max prices more, but I don't really worry about it too much. And then the repricing rule. You can see down here, you have a bunch of options. I have Make Money One for back in an older video when I made a repricing rule with you guys. I don't do that anymore because I just use all of their AI ones. And right now they have these 5 rules. They have AI Sales Maximizer, Booster, Equalizer, Profit Booster, and Maximizer, and they basically go in order of aggressiveness. Sales Maximizer is going to be the most aggressive. You're likely going to sell your items for a little bit less, but turn over a lot more volume, and that's normally what I'm interested in, especially if my stuff has been sitting for a while. And since I haven't sent in any shipments for like 2 months, all my stuff's been sitting for a while. So all my listings, you're probably going to see our Sales Maximizer. Sales Booster is what I normally will start things on, or Equalizer. That way I kind of am trying to get a little bit higher prices, because a lot of units will sell at those higher prices, and you don't want to automatically race to the bottom. And even when I have Sales Maximizer, it doesn't race to the bottom. It kind of sees what your competition is doing and tries to get the most profits while selling the most units possible. It's not just going to race all the way to the bottom. And then moving up here, you have Profit Booster and Maximizer, and then whatever rules you made. This is going to be adjusted here soon based on what we're going to talk about in a second. Then you have your price right now, which is at the minimum, because you can see the low price is $5.01. And so I'm still a little bit above that. And then what the estimated profits are and how many units you've sold over the past time frame. The way that I'll normally work on this page is if I have a lot of units that haven't sold in a while, I'll sort by quantity. And then when I have the most quantity here, I'll look to see if I'm below other people on the listing. And we can see right now, honestly, this one's something I'm probably going to have to lower. I have had 0% of the buy box in the past little bit. I have 23 of them right now. My average cost is $18. And this just turned out to be something that the price dropped a lot on. It might go back up because it's a fishing item and it's going to come back in season potentially, but I really could just just get my money back out of it and drop this price down to the $23 for the minimum. And the way that you can look at that to see how much you would potentially make is if you click this profit calculator right over here, it's going to pull up this page. Without changing your minimum price, you can see what it would look like to sell it for $23. And then if I press that refresh button, we can see that I would lose $1.55, which honestly is not the end of the world. It gives you $16.63 of cash flow, not profits. There's a train behind me. I hope you can't hear it. So honestly, what I'm going to do is change that. And to do that, I just have to click save here. And now I'm going to be trying to sell at that same price. That way, if I sell these 23 units, I'll get, what is that? 23 times 16. I'll get back another $368 of cash flow back into my pocket. And even though I will have lost money, you can watch this video here to figure out why that's actually a smarter thing to do, especially if you're sourcing a lot, which I haven't been, but I'm going to start doing more, I promise. I feel like I'm promising that to myself more than you guys, honestly. But this is a really fast way that I use in order to sell out a lot of quantity items to see whether or not I should drop my prices. The one last thing that I want to show you guys that I will do on this page is go over here to filters. And this is especially important if you don't have any of the buy box, because here we're just sorting based on quantity, which can be good. But over here, over in filters, you can look at the default filters. These will be changing here pretty soon. I'm pretty sure that's what they were telling me, just to make it a little bit simpler, because there's just a lot of filters. And the only one that I really care about, honestly, right now is the competition below minimum price. If you remember as well, you can click here, or you can just go over to the dashboard, scroll all the way to the bottom, and it'll be these 70 units here, which I think is just one less click, so it might make your life a little easier. But if we look at these, we can see that the competition is below the buy box, and we can see maybe why that's the case. Here I'm at $20, that's my minimum. I have one left, and the competition's at $19.50. I'm still making a little bit of money, so if we just drop this down to $19, we can go ahead and save it and have that not be an issue. But this is something that you'll probably have to worry about, because sometimes you drop prices and then the competition's just like, I'm gonna drop it even below you. So I always still sort these by quantity here, because sometimes I do have these zero quantity ones, all of these ones that I really shouldn't worry about, but everything here I have 12, 10, 9, all the way down. And these are the ones that I'm gonna want to drop prices on so that I can get money out of my listing. This next part is probably the most important part when you're getting started with your repricer, and that's setting up your rules. Like I said, I normally just use the ones that they have in here, and they're actually going to be changing this, and I'll go through an email that they just sent out to everybody, which is super cool with the new things that they're going to let you do with the repricer, which is actually going to save me even more time. So here we have the repricing rules. You can see the rules that I have, like I said, were the equalizer, booster, maximizer, sales booster, sales maximizer, and then this make money one. Down here, you can see what the rules are. It says match the buy box offer, no price change during buy box ownership. That's the one that I made. And then here you have sales maximizer, reprice aggressively to maximize sales. You can see most of my listings are here. Reprice dynamically to generate sales, whatever. These are pretty similar. They're basically just the level of aggressiveness that it is. But if you do want to make a new rule, or even just adjust one of these rules, you can go here to add a new rule. And this is something that you can even do for like a specific one listing. If you want very specific rules just for this one thing, you can do that and only put this on the one listing. And you can get started either by going by a rules-based repricer and targeting one of these things. I don't do that. I just go AI powered. And let's say I want it to be super aggressive, so sales maximizer, and you can adjust some of the settings here. These are the default settings. If it says when I'm the only seller, you could say do not reprice, or you could just say use max price. Maybe if you're the only seller and you want to try to just get the highest price possible. Right now, if I'm the only seller, that's why I have some of them that aren't repricing. But if you're not like me and you dial in your max prices to make sure that there's still something that's reasonable, you can just have it automatically repriced to the max price. And that's a way that you can customize some of these rules. And then the next thing is a schedule over here. You could set a repeated schedule or a fixed date schedule. And this is something that some people have suggested is every day at 3 o'clock, you can pause it and reset your price to your max price and then enable it an hour later. Doing this every day, if you wanted to, essentially would give you the benefit of resetting the listing, especially if other people are following you based on your repricing, or they have other repricers that aren't necessarily as dialed in. If you reset your price to the maximum price and a lot of people follow, then that means that the buy box might start higher tomorrow and then reprice down as the day goes along. Therefore, you probably will get some sales that are at those higher prices. And that's something that I have seen definitely work. And so pretty simply, that's what the dashboard is, how you go through your listings page to adjust it, the rules that you have, the price history reports, upload file, and then all the way over here, your own account. But real quick, before we get to the but that I was going to talk about, here's another but that I forgot to put in my original recording of the video. It's going to be back over on this active listings page, and it's actually how you set up your new listings to be repriced. There are two different ways that you can do it. One over here is settings, go to general, and on these general settings, you can do a lot. I would definitely recommend going ahead and checking it out. You can reset your price when the listing is out of stock. You can pause repricing when the listing is out of stock for X amount of days. And here's where you'll also do your inventory lab integration. You'll synchronize both here as well as on inventory lab. You just have to go into the settings page over there, but I showed you how to do that in a previous video. And you can choose the cost type, which is also important. Your current cost, which is the most recent thing that you bought the item for. You could also do average or highest cost. Actually, I think I'm going to change this to an average cost just in case you buy something for two different prices. Here, you can assign default values to new listings downloaded from Amazon. And this is what I always do. So every day, they're going to search on Amazon for any new listings that you might have had, which you might have created through Inventory Lab. And this is what I do to make sure that I don't even have to go in here after I send new products in, because it'll automatically reprice for me. I have a default minimum price based on my price plus shipping minus 7%. Because I know that normally my price minimum minimum is going to be around 50% ROI. So if that price drops by 7%, I'll still be profitable and I'll be able to make some sales, and I can go back in and tweak this if I want to, but at a very minimum, it'll still be being repriced. You can change this as well to be based on your cost or based on a fixed price if you want to go back in and tweak them all. Personally, I just want them to start being repriced as fast as possible. And then your maximum price, I have it based on my price plus shipping plus 10%. And this is the price that you put in when you set the listing on Inventory Lab, which is why it's important to set those based on something that you think could actually sell, or maybe even a little bit higher if you're doing it like me and you want this to be minus 7%. It's just kind of an arbitrary number that I chose. I don't think there's any serious rhyme or reason to it. Same with this 10%, but that way my listings are being repriced without me having to worry about it. You can also set a default repricing rule, and I have mine to AI Sales Booster. I do hope that you can set these to a condition, which I think you'll probably be able to do since you can see I make money one. You just have to create a conditional repricing rule, which I'm going to show you how to do when those do come out. And you'll know what I'm talking about in a second, since I just now realized that I haven't talked about that in this video yet. But I have mine set to Sales Booster, and later I can go back and change it to Maximizer. Default cost based on your price plus shipping plus whatever. I don't do this because that is all integrated from Inventory Lab. If you don't have Inventory Lab integration, you could probably set something up here, but I would just do Inventory Lab or go in and create your cost. FBM shipping cost, not worried about it because I don't do FBM. FBA shipping cost, I have $0 right here. The reason for that is because it's going to take that information from Amazon directly, but if it can't get that information initially, it's not going to reprice it if you don't have this on. So I always have this on set to $0. That way it'll automatically start to reprice, and I save all of that. And that way, whenever I have new listings come in, they'll automatically start repricing the second that they get uploaded into Bqool, which is normally before they even get to the Amazon Fulfillment Center. If you do want to change some things, you can sort by specific status or amount of quantities and select specific units over here, and then go over here to bulk actions. And there's a lot of different things that you can do. You can set again the minimum, maximum price, and the rule. And changing these, this is how I would go into my listings and go to all listings, missing minimum, maximum price, and rule, or the group or selected listings. And this is how I would change it to a new rule like Sales Maximizer instead of Sales Booster. Or you can set the specific cost, shipping price, match the minimum price as lowest price, buy box, all these different things. Pretty self-explanatory, honestly. And you can even create groups, which I honestly haven't done, but could be very useful if there are specific groups that you want to change at the same time because they're similar listings. Or you can reload the cost from Inventory Lab if you'd like. I've never needed to do this. It's always come across correctly. Over here in preferences as well, you can just set the number of results that you see per page. I like to normally keep it at 500. That way I can select everything if I want to. And this is how you can have everything sorted. Like I showed, I have everything sorted by the date created, newest to oldest. And then you can add a specific group here. You can add units sold in the last 7 days, estimated profit margin, and ROI. I don't really worry about any of that. This is all the things that I have, and you can take any of these off as well. And now we'll get into the new stuff. So I'll give you a new, but Bqool is actually doing some pretty cool stuff to change this, and they just added something called conditional repricing. This essentially is going to mean that you can change either your repricing rule or even your minimum price, which is a suggestion that I gave them, which made them push back their launch by a month. To be where certain criteria are met, you can change your repricing rule or your minimum price to either be more or less aggressive so that you can spend less time worrying about repricing and doing the things that I just showed you that I do when I go onto that listings page, and make your life just so much simpler and easier. And this is something that I'm super excited for and cannot wait for it to be rolled out on all of our accounts. So this is what their email says. It says conditional repricer is coming. Auto switch your repricing rules dynamically based on many conditions like sales, sales velocity, units sold, inventory quantity and age, days of supply, and more. And they gave me a sneak peek of what this all looks like. And I think there's 10 plus different conditions that you can use to change how you're going to reprice. And I will have a video coming out about this when it comes live. So I just pulled up a quick sneak peek that I took from their whole webinar that they just did announcing this. But this is what we're looking at. There are essentially going to be 5 new conditional repricing rules that you can set for your units that can be based on inventory, age conditions, which is the one that I'm most excited for, sell-through rates, days of supply, like how many units you have left to sell, FBA advanced conditions, which is just kind of making your own one, or FBM advanced conditions, which is also just kind of making your own one based on those 10 different conditions that you have that you can change. Here, what's really cool is this inventory age condition is what I'm most excited for, because you constantly hear me talking about, hey, if something has been at Amazon for like a month, 2 months, 3 months, you're going to want to drop your price. And this will allow you to do that automatically, which I'm like so stoked for, and I'm so grateful that they called me a month and a half before they were planning on launching this and got my feedback, and they literally asked me what could be better, and I was like, honestly, I always go in and change my prices, my minimum price. Is this something that could happen? And they had to push back their launch because they needed to add that as a thing that you could do. If I have inventory that's been at Amazon for, let's say, a month, I can have that start at profit booster, so not very aggressive rule. And then if the inventory's been there for either 60 or 90 days, I can have it automatically change based on that condition. And so it'll change it to maybe be a more aggressive rule to, instead of being profit booster, to be sales booster. And then I can also drop my minimum price by like 10% or something like that. That's something that you could automatically do with these new conditional repricing rules, which are coming out. I think April 13th is when they're going live. Honestly, all of these are pretty exciting, and there's tons and tons that you'll be able to do with this. And you can walk through this live stream if you want to. But this is what I was talking about, is if you have inventory at Amazon, oh, this is even better. better. Between 0 and 30 days, you can have one rule, and then after 30 days, I can bump it down one level of aggressiveness, and then after 60 days, I can bump it down another one and change the minimum price if I wanted to. I cannot wait for this to be launched. I think it's going to be about 2 weeks from now, and it's going to make our lives so much easier as sellers. But now, as you'll see, you can build your rules based on AI, rules-based, and conditional repricing. The one thing to know, though, is that conditional repricing is an AI repricing. So the plan that you're going to need to have with Bqool is an AI plan for however many units you want to use it. So if you have the $50 a month plan, I'm pretty sure you get 10 AI units. If you have the $100 a month plan, I do think it's super worth it, especially with this new conditional repricing. That time savings alone is worth that extra $50 a month to me, and you'll be able to do that. You can sign up, like I said, with my link down in the description for an elongated free trial. Just reach out to support@bqool.com and they'll hook you up with an upgraded and elongated free trial, or use those 2 free months if you're watching this soon. You can still go through my link if you'd like. But that brings us to the last part of the video, which you're probably waiting for and maybe forgot about if I did a good enough job with this video, but that's the giveaway. Okay, so here's what's going on. I just double checked, and the official launch is going to be April 13th. For this new conditional repricing. I will have a video coming out around that time explaining the conditional repricing, as they're actually going to give me a couple days head start to get my hands on it to see kind of how it feels. So thanks so much Bqool for that, but also thank you Bqool because we're going to be able to do 2 different giveaways. Well, it's the same giveaway for 2 different people. April 13th, 2022 is when they're going to do their launch. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in Zion National Park, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough internet on the 13th to do what I'm going to do, but we'll be heading to Vegas after that, so I'm going to make sure by the 15th. Sorry, I should have thought about this before I ended up figuring out the date. So here are going to be the details of the giveaway. I will have all these rules in the description of this video as well if you forget, but this is how we're going to decide who wins. And I guess I should probably tell you what you're winning. So essentially, April 15th, 2022, 2 winners will be announced. Each of the 2 winners will receive 1 annual plan, which is the 5,010 plan. So you have 5,000 rules-based, 10 AI repricing rules. That way you can at least try out the conditional repricing, but we can still give a prize to 2 different people. That's a $540 value, and I did talk to Bqool. If you wanted to upgrade to the $100 per month plan, you can upgrade to that at any time. It's just a $540 value, so get the annual version of the $50 per month plan for free. You can upgrade though if you want to get the 1,000 AI listings. You just be paying the price of the $50 per month plan. So 2 people will get that, and we'll do a live drawing of the winner at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, because I think I'm going to be in Vegas at that point. And here are the conditions for how to enter. Obviously, no purchase necessary. Purchasing anything or supporting me in any way won't increase any chances of winning. And there are going to be 4 things that you have to do, 3 of which I can't really check super much, and so one of them is really going to be the only real way. But don't tell people. I still want you to do these first 3. But the first is to like this video that you're watching right now. Second is to be subscribed to my channel. And the third is to follow me on Instagram at AMBDNZA, because I will definitely be posting there a lot more. And that's how you can most directly contact me if you want to like get in my DMs or anything. And then the last thing is kind of the main way that I'll be choosing this, which is replying to my pinned comment on this video. If you want to, just like we did with the last Bqool giveaway, you can reply something pretty funny. That way, in case you win, I have to say it out loud. Nothing vulgar, nothing inappropriate, obviously. And on top of that, please, please, please reply to my pinned comment. Last time that I did this, I had some people just comment on my video, but please reply to the pinned comment, because if you just comment and you don't reply to the pinned comment, you won't be entered into the drawing. You have to reply to that pinned comment. Go ahead and do these 4 things, please, at least this bottom one, and you'll be entered into the drawing, which we'll do on April 15th, and I'll see you guys there. Watch these Bqool videos if you're interested more in learning how and why I chose Bqool for my repricer. Peace.